Hello YouTubers, Village here, and welcome to another weekly rant video. But today, I'm all alone. No baseball lover, no dude, no one. So it's gonna be a different kind of style for this, just this one episode. Next week, I promise you, baseball lover or the dude will be back, or maybe even them both. But this episode will be more of like a news episode. It'll just be me reading out some of the headlines for this week's cycling news, I guess, because there's no one really to discuss these events with, so it doesn't make sense that I'm going to discuss this with myself. I mean, I can play the devil's advocate, but to be honest, how far are we going to go with that? Because I have my opinion and I don't really want to go against that. But I mean, we can start off with the Tour of Qatar, which was this week. It's a very exciting race. It's probably one of my favorite races, or at least in the early season, because back in the PCM days, it would always be one of the first races with sensors to another that you would race. So of course, I'm gonna love this stage race. And the real life 2014 edition of Tour of Qatar was no disappointment. The first stage was won by a breakaway. It was won by Niki Terpstra. Second place, we had Jürgen Roelandts, which I know Hansball is a big fan of, but Niki Terpstra was so strong on this stage, and the wind played such a big difference. Like it played such a big part in the stage that the sprinters could not catch up to the breakaway. The final 10 kilometers, they were jumping around like 18 seconds and 30 seconds, and for 10 kilometers they couldn't catch this 4-man breakaway or 6-man breakaway. I'm not sure how many people were actually in it. I think it's Van Kiesberg, Niki Terpstra, and Jürgen Roelandts, so like the biggest name I remember. Then in the second stage, we saw the raw power of Omega Pharma Quickstep when the weather suits their preferences. Cause this wind, like this crosswind with all the echelons, played such a big part of the stage as well. Basically, it played such a big part of the entire stage race. Tom Bone won this stage, and I believe that Jürgen Roelandts was also up in this. Actually, no, I don't remember if this was the stage he was up in, but Niki Terpstra was still in the Oval's leader's jersey, and Niki Terpstra won this race actually. So that early breakaway for Niki Terpstra really paid dividends for him. Then we had the time trial, and once again the wind played such a big part of the stage, because guys like Fabian Cancellara and Tony Martin were complaining about them having to start later than some of the other guys. Mainly they did that because of the wind. Because early on the day there was no wind, and later on the day the wind picked up. So the big not the big GC contenders, the big stage contenders like Cancellara and what's his name, Tony Martin and Lars Boom, they were riding in such a high wind compared to what Michael Hepburn, the winner, and Daniel Bernardi were in second place, I believe it was, or third place. So that also played a big difference in that stage. Michael Hepburn winning the stage was quite impressive in my opinion, because I haven't heard much of Michael Hepburn. Like, we heard he won the national championship in Australia, like the time trial. And Luke Durbridge was like the favorite to win this one, but Michael Hepburn took that away from his teammate. The next stage was won by Tom Bone, and I'm pretty sure this was the one with Michael Murkoff and Jürgen Roelandts coming second and third. Very surprising stage, but once again Omega Pharma Quickstep just showed how strong they can be when the weather is on their side. Andre Greipel was nowhere. Actually, that might actually have been the stage where Andre Greipel was second place. Actually, I actually think that was the stage Andre Greipel was second place, and the second stage was the one with Michael Murkoff and Jürgen Roelandts. Yeah, I think that looks right. The next stage, won by Andre Greipel. Finally, the sprinter got what he wanted. This was more of a normal sprint stage, because the pace wasn't that high. The stage that Tom Bone won, the fourth stage, was the fastest stage in race history to date. It was 135 kilometers, ridden with 58 kilometers an hour average. It was insane. I mean, I was recording this for the Cycling Hub, and it just came on television in the final kilometer. Like, beIN Sports was showing this race, and it just came on as the race was about to end. It was very exciting. That's also one of the reasons why that video has like a 50,000 views in the Cycling Hub. It's pretty insane. But thank God for that fast stage. It gave me more views in the Cycling Hub. Next stage was won by Arnaud Démare. Finally, the Frenchman broke through and he won a stage. Arnaud Démare has been deserving to win a stage. He's been doing really good, and with the leader train he had, I was really surprised he could win this stage, because by the sixth stage, I mean, his entire leader train was gone. Pretty much all the FDJ riders had abandoned because of crashes, or they're falling too far behind, or they just don't want to deal with the high winds. In the end, it was only like 3 or 4 guys left in FDJ to help Arnaud Démare, but those 4 guys lead him out to the victory. So that was the Tour of Qatar. There's another stage race going on this week, the Tour of Mediterranean. This one, John Deagle Cup, is dominating. So the first 3 stages, he made a hat-trick. Like one of these stages was even a mountain stage, and he won it. I mean, it ended up in a sprint, but he still won it. It was pretty exciting that John Deagle could do that. Then we had a time trial. It was won by Stephen Cummings. I saw a picture on Twitter of Stephen Cummings and Taylor Finney going out to recognize, or like they're checking out the stage. With Torhusa, I believe that was. Very exciting picture, and it turned out that BMC figured out that stage because Stephen Cummings is now in the leader's jersey, and he's still in the leader's jersey after today's stage, which was a mountain stage won by Jean-Christophe Pirot. I actually didn't know he was still that good, but I mean, the names of that race is not really that highly thought of, because I think Jean-Christophe Pirot is like the only big climber there, and speaking about Jean-Christophe Pirot, I don't think he's at his highest level. I think he has peaked and is declining. Let's see, what other headlines are there this week? Let me just take a look. So there is also another Lotto Bellator rider who is stopping. Oliver Kaysen has decided to stop because of his heart. His heart has a disease, so he can't go high, like his heart can't pump too hard, because then he might die of a heart attack. It's very likely. So therefore he has chosen to stop riding his bike, which is it's pretty sad for most Belgian fans, because Oliver Kaysen was a loved personality in the cycling peloton, or in the peloton, just in general. So Oliver Kaysen actually, he's 27 years of age. By this age, he's actually ridden more tours than any other professional guy has. I mean, he's been up there. He's been in so many different races, just being a domestique. I mean, it's not often you see him actually being the GC contender or the captain on the team. But as a domestique, he's very, very good. And I mean, I never really put too much thought into Oliver Kaysen's performances. But seeing him being forced to abandon his career like this, it's kind of sad. You never want to see a pro like this go out because of a heart disease. I mean, I saw Anders Lund decide to stop riding because he wanted to go to the university, and cycling is not his thing because he knows he can't get anywhere. I accept that and I understand that. That's not being forced out like Oliver Kaysen was, so that's sad. Speaking about being forced out, Nin Solo, who's been doing really good in the Tour de St. Louis and did decent, I'd say, in Tour of Qatar. He got top 10 a couple of times. Is out with a crash in training. He had broken his collarbone and is now out for another month or 2. What's his name? Thomas Vauclair had a broken collarbone injury like this. He is now back and riding the Tour de Mediterranean, I believe. So, I mean, it took him a month to recuperate from that. So I believe we'll see him in Seoul in about a month, depending on how good his recovery rate is. Should be pretty good. That guy is pretty good in riding a bike, and he wants to get back on it as soon as possible. I think that's about all the topics I have for this week. I'm sorry that there's really nothing to talk about. I mean, next week is going to be very interesting, and finally Baseball Lover's going to be on here. It's going to be some nice talking about. I know that Dude had some topics he wanted to talk about, but he was not reachable either. So I'm kind of sad it has to go down this week, but I'm trying to do the weekly rant video every week for this entire year. So that means there'll be around like 56 videos or something like that. So it's going to be very interesting to see if I can keep this up. I'm definitely going to try. Thank you guys for watching. Please give a like. Please, I mean, there's no one to shout out today because I'm all by myself. I hope you guys enjoyed this kind of different style of weekly rant, because it's not really a rant, it's just a weekly telling you guys what's up in the world of cycling. It's not as good as the Weekend Bike by Cycloclassen, but I mean, I do my best. I am just little me back here in Denmark. Thank you guys for watching, and see you guys later.